Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. But honestly, Android 15 isn't the main reason I wanted to try this update. What I really care about is whether it actually improves the day-to-day experience. Is it more stable? Can it handle multiple game instances better? Does it make running newer games any easier? So instead of reading through a list of new features, I decided to spend some time testing it myself. In this video, I'll share 5 things I really like about MuMu Player 6.0. plus a couple of things you should know before upgrading. For this review, I'm looking at MuMu Player from the perspective of someone who actually plays mobile games on PC every day. I'm not here to run synthetic benchmarks or compare numbers. I simply want to answer the questions most people have. Can it install games without issues? Is it stable during long gaming sessions? Does multi-instance still work smoothly? And most importantly, is it worth upgrading if you're already using an older version of MuMu? Let's jump in. Before we get into the review, I want to quickly show you how I upgraded to MuMu Player 6.0 because the process is actually very simple. If you're already using the latest version of MuMu Player 5, you don't need to uninstall anything or start over. Just download the MuMu Player 6.0 installer and install it directly over your existing version, just like I'm doing here. During my upgrade, all of my installed games, emulator settings, key mappings, and existing instances were kept exactly as they were. That means you can move to MuMu Player 6.0 without having to set everything up from scratch, which is definitely a nice bonus if you've already spent time customizing your emulator. Point 1. Android 15 and Android 12. The first thing I really like is how MuMu handles Android 15. Instead of replacing Android 12 entirely, it simply adds Android 15 as another available environment. That might not sound like a huge deal at first, but for anyone who's been using an emulator for a long time, it's actually a very smart approach. Most of us already have games installed, key mappings configured, macros set up, and multiple instances ready to go. Nobody wants to lose all of that just because of an OS upgrade. With MuMu Player 6.0, you don't have to. Your existing Android 12 instances stay exactly as they are, while Android 15 is available whenever you want to try newer games or test better compatibility. It makes upgrading feel a lot less risky. Point to broader compatibility. The second thing I noticed is game compatibility. I tested a few different titles by installing them directly from Google Play, and I also tried installing APK files manually. Everything I tested installed normally and launched without any unexpected issues. That's especially important if you like trying newly released games or regional versions from Japan, Korea, or global servers. Android 15 should help improve compatibility with newer mobile games going forward. Point 3. Greater stability. The third point is probably the most important one for me, and that's stability. FPS is great, but stability is what really matters when you're using an emulator every day. There's nothing more frustrating than leaving a game running overnight only to come back and find that the emulator has frozen or crashed. During my testing, I spent time switching maps, running combat, leaving games on auto battle, and jumping between different windows. So far, I haven't experienced any crashes or unexpected freezes. Of course, your experience may vary depending on your PC and the games you play, but overall the system feels noticeably more reliable than before. Point for smarter multi-instance. The fourth highlight is multi-instance, and this is probably one of the features emulator users care about the most. If you only play a single game on one account, you probably won't notice a huge difference. But if you manage multiple accounts, reroll gacha games, or leave one game farming while playing another, then multi-instance performance becomes incredibly important. For this test, I opened several emulator windows at the same time, one running my main game, another for a secondary account, plus a few extra instances to see how well the system handled switching between them. Overall, the experience was surprisingly smooth. Switching from one window to another felt responsive, and even with multiple instances running simultaneously, I didn't experience any major stuttering, frozen windows, or system-wide slowdowns. Of course, your hardware still plays a big role. If your PC has enough RAM and a capable CPU, MuMu Player 6.0 can take full advantage of those resources, making multi-instance gaming feel much smoother and more stable, even during longer gaming sessions. Point 5. Game Booster and Auto Translation. The fifth thing I want to mention is Game Boost, along with another upcoming feature called Auto Translation. While Auto Translation isn't available in the build I'm currently testing, I think it's going to be a really useful addition once it's officially released. If you enjoy playing games on Japanese, Korean, or Chinese servers, you probably know how inconvenient it can be to constantly switch to a translation app or take screenshots just to understand menus, quests, or dialogue. Having that translation built directly into the emulator could make the overall experience much more convenient, especially for story-driven games or titles that haven't been localized yet. It's definitely one of the features I'm looking forward to trying once it becomes available. Now, let's see how MuMu Player's Game Booster performs in real gameplay. To use Game Booster, you'll need to sign in with your Google account. Since I'm already signed in, I can jump straight in and enjoy the game. Game Booster simplifies system optimization with just a single click. By reducing unnecessary background activity, it frees up more CPU and memory for your game, helping deliver a smoother and more stable experience. It's especially useful for entry-level or older PCs, where every bit of performance matters. What I also like is how easy it is to use. Just sign in with your Google account, enable Game Booster, and it handles the optimization automatically. No complicated setup or manual tweaking required. Of course, it won't turn a low-end PC into a high-end gaming machine, but by making better use of your existing hardware, it can help improve overall stability and responsiveness, especially when running Android games through an emulator. One thing I'd recommend is not rushing to move everything over to Android 15 immediately. If your current games are running perfectly on Android 12, there's really no reason to change them right away. I think the best approach is to keep Android 12 for your existing setup and use Android 15 whenever you want to test newer titles. That's exactly why I appreciate MuMu's dual system design. The second thing to keep in mind is that your hardware still plays a big role. MuMu Player 6.0 is definitely optimized better. But if you're planning to run 4 or 5 game instances at the same time, your CPU, RAM, and SSD will still determine how smooth the experience is. The better your hardware, the more you'll benefit from the improvements in this update. Overall, after spending some time with MuMu Player 6.0, I think this update is much more than just Android 15 support. What impressed me the most is the overall stability, improved compatibility with newer games, and the flexibility of having both Android 12 and Android 15 available side by side. If you're someone who regularly uses an emulator for long gaming sessions, multiple accounts, or testing new mobile games, I think MuMu Player 6.0 is definitely worth checking out. I'll leave the download link in the description below if you'd like to try it yourself. And if you've already tested MuMu Player 6.0, let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your experience.